I got really mad at a national bank. I mean, I went in there, right? They knew me. I had a business. I was going in there every week, a couple times a week. The manager knew me by my name, all this stuff. One day I left my wallet at home. Okay. And I said, look, I got a package I got to pay for with UPS. I need to get money out. I'm sorry. I said, I forgot my wallet. And they go, I'm sorry. Without your wallet, we can't give you any money. I said, you can't give me any money, right? Okay, it's my money. You can't give it to me. You know who I am. I've been coming in here for all this time. We're on a first name basis. You send me a freaking Christmas card at Christmas time and a birthday card for my birthday, but you can't give me my money, and it's under $100. I got really pissed. I went home, dug up my wallet, came back, and I said, okay, I want every cent of my money in a cashier's check. Oh, we can't do that. I said, you can't give me a cashier's check for $50,000 right now? No, we can't do that. We have to wait 24 hours. And I go, you have to wait 24 hours to give me a cashier's check. Okay? And
That's crazy.
It was crazy. And you know what? I had to wait. I closed my account. Yeah, U.S. Bank.
And they didn't give you any reason, right? They just say that that's their policy, I guess. They create laws and policies.
Maybe because the branch manager wouldn't look good for them, right? Somebody closing the account out with $50,000. I don't know. In savings.
Well, it's just another mechanism of control. I mean, it's your money, but you got to go in there and beg for it. And they're not willing to. There's really no community feel anymore. I imagine back in the 40s, 50s, and 60s, and even the 70s, there was more of a sense of community. But it seems like there's been some kind of a wall put up, this isolation of people from each other, on a neighborhood basis.
They don't even know. Most people don't know their neighbors. Come on.
Yeah, it's weird. It seems like that it's gotten more and more like that. And I guess maybe technology and lots more television channels to watch and the internet and then cell phones, everyone's kind of got their head buried in, their screen. I'm guilty of it myself, although, I know a lot of people. I spend a lot of time writing and editing and researching. So, I guess it's the nature of the way things have become, but there's also this separation between us and the people who used to supposed to work with us and for us, the banks, the police officers, even the fire department. I mean, I think there used to be more of the sense of, hey, we're here to protect and serve the community and the people, whereas now they seem like they're protecting and serving themselves and protecting their interests and their allegiance to some twisted, organization that's pretty much put everybody under their physical and mental control. The governments that are, these corporations that are just siphoning off our energy and our hard-earned sweat equity in everything that we have. We don't even own our homes, really. They can come and take away whatever they want from you anytime because they have manipulated their legal system to put them into a superior position on your body, your land, and all of your property, your cars and your belongings. They have legally created it so that they can use their police force to strong-arm you into anything or out of anything that they wish. And it's really psychotic and abusive. And we do not have to put up with it anymore. I try not to use the word should, would, or could. It's how about we are not going to stand for it anymore. There's no reason to stand for it. We've acquiesced for so long now that where everyone's feeling in a position of helplessness, but
I think they're scared, Ronald, I really think they're scared because, under the Patriot Act, right? They can arrest you, hold you indefinitely for no reason at all. I mean, I know. You can hold you in a cell. You won't talk to an attorney. Who knows how you're going to get treated. From what I was reading from what a listener sent me, that some of these places that people have been incarcerated for a long time, before they got released, and they didn't do anything wrong. They were talking about how they were savagely.
Won't even let you talk to a lawyer or family. They can just put you in isolation and not let anyone visit you. They can just do whatever they want.
He claims that even you get beaten like you wouldn't believe, and if they beaten you so much where they almost think they killed you, where you're all bloody and cut up and bruised up, they put you in isolation till you heal. I mean, come on. I mean, it's scary, and people are scared to make waves anymore. That's the whole problem.
Well, I've been studying the law and the nature of admiralty law and the way that we are treated as we're treated as human beasts. Like the human is considered to be a beast. And we are also treated as if we are lost or dead at sea because of some of these 7-year commercial agreements they have us with, that with our birth certificate, if you don't come and make it known that you're not lost at sea, then you're treated like a dead entity. And so when a person is being dragged through the legal system and the jail system and incarceration, they're just being treated as if they're actually physically really dead. When they're dragged around, they can be beaten, left for dead, not attended to. No, they don't really care about human rights because a dead entity doesn't really have any rights.
Well, no.
So
that's why if you look at all the local jail houses in the counties all across the country, right, and you look and see how many inmates die a month, you'd be totally shocked because, one, a lot of them are older people, people are street people, or even people that didn't even really commit much of a crime. They're sitting in jail, but they got medical conditions. They can't get their medicine. They can't see a doctor. And then they end up dying in jail, waiting to go up for a judge on a very minor thing, or they're abused, they're beaten. You know, if they say, I need help here, they don't care.
Yeah.
You know, and that's what's scary.
And I think it's all intentional, and it's part of the system. And you know, you got the inmates kind of running the asylum, or these prison guards are in that psychotic mentality of the prison system that I think it just really bends their judgment, and they just start seeing everyone in there as a disposable life or criminal who they have no respect for. And I think that there's some kind of it's just pervasive throughout the entire judicial system, where those people who are working that system have no respect for human life and for human rights.
Well, what do you get when you pay a lot of these guards not much more than minimum wage? A lot of these jails, you know, they're not run by the county, they're not run by the state or the federal government. They hire private companies, and who knows what type of people they hire.
Yeah, they're private companies, exactly. That they're just going to hire. Some of those people who they hire are probably former criminals.
Probably.
And that's what they want, though. They want that psychology in there. That's just a bunch of insane people all cohabitating with the good people on one side of the bars that they say, and then the bad people on the other side of the bars, but they're all just bad people.
Well, all I can say is the economy is really sucking. I don't care what people can get on TV and say. I mean, like we were talking about, there's so many people out of work, towns with vacant businesses. You know, again, you know, what's going on worldwide, people are, and what astounds me is the average person, as long as it doesn't affect them, they don't care.
Yeah. They're right at that sweet spot where they're like, listen, I don't want to upset my Apple Card, okay? I make my $4,500 a month retirement and Social Security, and I've got my, you know, $3,000 in bills, and I've got my savings and IRAs, and I just, you know, not in my backyard. I don't care. It doesn't affect me. I just want to ride out the rest of this short, sick life in peace and not get involved. I mean, and that's a big problem, because what we need is people who want to get involved. And that's why I've really been talking to, you know, I have nieces and nephews, and they're young, and I've been spending as much time talking to them and making them understand so that they can talk to their friends and make them understand, and maybe even make their younger teachers understand by asking questions. But it's doing shows like your show, like right now, where it's I can reach a community of a group of people, a large enough group of people. Like you've told me we've had 60, 90, 100,000 people listening to these shows, your shows. And so that's $100,000 people, 100,000 people who I can put the solution out to and say, hey, look, here's the deal. I want you to email me. I'm going to give you guys the promissory note template, the promissory note example to work for the template, the statutes and codes. I'm going to give you the path to freedom, the steps to legally remove yourself from the jurisdiction of the state, and then we're all going to start passing out you guys take that information that I give you, you start applying it, and then you start passing it to all of your friends so that so it spreads like a virus, that all of a sudden, boom, everybody understands, everybody's got the solution, and I've got it all written down so it's easy to look at, understand, and digest. And I'm also making an instructional video to go with it. But I want to give everybody my email address or contact info so that you can come at me directly and get the templates and the path to freedom and start making a change. And you don't have, and this is not going to upset your apple cart. Even if you're sitting there thinking, well, he's right, I don't want to upset my apple cart. I like listening to the show, but I don't know how personally involved I want to get. This is set up so that this really isn't going to upset your apple cart, because what you're doing is, this is mostly paperwork, getting it organized and ready, and then what we're going to do is start getting together and set up specific dates where everybody's going to mail in their promissory note to the bank on that same date. So we can have our, day of infamy where we start setting specific dates in our lives where the people started, or the living souls of the earth started to take control of their destiny instead of being driven down this road of hopelessness.
So I
definitely want to give out my email address.
Yeah. So what do you think's going to happen if everybody on the same day sends a promissory note to their institution, like their bank or credit union or whatever? What do you think, and what do you hope will happen?
I'm hoping that a news announcement is made that says a class action lawsuit has been brought against the United States of America and by the people who are now pushing for their equality, financial equality. And then they tell the story about the promissory note and how millions of people on this certain date submitted their promissory note. And this class action lawsuit, they'll report, is going to go to the Supreme Court. And then everybody's going to watch the trial of the century of the living souls of Earth getting their financial freedom back by winning this Supreme Court lawsuit that gives us our financial freedom. It will end poverty, and that will be the headline, the day poverty ended. So that's the ultimate goal. That's the outcome that I see.
But let's say the courts are so corrupt, how about if they dismiss it and don't even want to hear it?
See, that's the thing. Once we all start getting on the same page, everyone's going to understand that we can make an offer, and they can make a conditional acceptance, and then we can make our own offer the way that we are going to accept the outcome. If the judges and the Supreme Court wind up being corrupt, and they're bought off and they make a decision against us, knowing full well that we all are in our right to do this, but we just need their official stamp saying, yes, you guys, the banks, you have to start accepting their notes. If they won't do justice for us, then we'll all see there is no justice. And so we need to have a couple of alternatives on the way we're going to do things, because we're all going to, part of this whole process, not just for the promissory note, but our freedom, is to remove ourselves from their jurisdiction. So if we get turned down with a promissory note, we've also got fallback on dates where everybody's going to turn back in their birth certificate, their social security card, their driver's license, and the registration for their automobiles, and completely pull themselves out of the jurisdiction of the government corporations, the state.
And now I got to ask you a question, Ronald. What's going to happen if people surrender everything, their citizenship? What is going to happen to them at that point? Now they can't hold a job. Technically, they can't go out and borrow money. They can't get money out of the bank. They can't go. What are they going to be able to do? I mean, where are they going to live? I mean, I know that there was
We have to silently protest